Welcome to Driving.ca, I'm Jay Canna. Behind me is the 2026 BMW iX electric vehicle. It's gone through its mid-cycle refresh this model year, so in this video, we'll go through exactly what that consists of. We'll talk about some numbers and even more numbers. We'll talk about driving impressions, pricing, and competition. Let's start off with what's new for the 2026 iX, and the easy one is they've changed the names. Whereas previously it was 405060, it is now 4560 M70. And I'm sure BMW just had to put the letter M in there somewhere for the iX lineup. And well, the M70, formerly 60, has a enormous, absurd amount of power, so I think it's deserving of having the M attached to it. Moving on from there, there is a new high energy density battery, as well as a silicon carbide semiconductor. On the outside, there's a new grille, and still recognizable for BMW's design language, but it's got the proverbial nip tuck, so it looks a little cleaner and a little more on the modern side. With any mid-cycle refresh, there's more of the things that matter, and in this case, there's more power and there's more range. The 45 trim now goes up to 502 kilometers, and the 60 trim, which is what I'm in, can now go up to 586 kilometers with 20-inch wheels on a full charge. The bigger the wheel size, the lower the range, so take from that what you will. Now, I have the 60 spec'd by BMW Canada, which includes 22-inch wheels, and that range has dropped for me from 586 all the way down to 526. So sure, the 22s might look good aesthetically, but if you are like me and a very function first person, I think those 20-inch wheels would be more than enough, and having, again, that up to 600 kilometers of range is totally worth the trade-off. The iX comes with a battery capacity of 113.4 kilowatts. Now, the specs here on my 60 trim are 536 horsepower, 564 pound-feet of torque. That does include a 20 horsepower bump from the 2025 model up to the 2026. As a comparison, the 45 trim churns out 402 horsepower, so a noticeable difference. So if you don't mind having a little less power, the 45 might be for you, but if you want something a little more on the athletic side, but you don't want to go all the way up to the M70, this 60 trim does quite well as far as power, and we'll get into the driving side very shortly. Let's touch on a few more numbers, one being charging speeds. So the 45 can charge at up to speeds of 175 kilowatts, whereas the 60 and the M70 bump up a little bit where you can charge up to 195 kilowatts. And the final number will be the cargo space, and with all the seats up, you get a healthy amount being 500 liters. And if you put those seats down, that more than triples. So lots of form, lots of function here, but the 500 liters of cargo space is more than enough. And you'll also get your charging cable through an underfloor storage bin. On the road, the iX has an exceptionally wonderful drive feel to it. Now, there's a small asterisk. There is a $3,500 dynamic handling package, which includes air suspension and four-wheel steering. I really think that if you are considering getting an iX, test drive something that does have that package, because the drive feel here is spectacular. It is smooth, the power delivery is excellent, and some EVs where you stop down on the accelerator, you get up to speed pretty quickly, but then it kind of fizzles out and you lose a little bit of that power, but that is not the case here. It's nice, sustainable power all the way through. Now, yes, as an EV, it does have that instant boost of power, and a lot of the luxury EVs are expected to drive well. Yes, the BMW iX drives, again, exceptionally well. The steering is extremely accurate. It's very responsive, not dull at all, and it still retains that impressive and famous driving dynamic that BMWs have been known for and what's made them famous in the luxury world. And I'm not saying an EV drives the same as an internal combustion engine vehicle, but this is one of the better, larger EVs that I've driven over the past couple of years. It's almost effortless, and there's no fighting with the wheel. There's very little oversteer, understeer, given the size and class of the vehicle it's in. You know, it's not going to be as razor sharp as, say, an M2, an M340i, but given its size and weight and dimensions, this iX has extremely impressive driving dynamics. On the energy recovery side, there's good and bad. The good being BMW gives you 4 options: low, medium, high, and adaptive, and each does exactly what you'd expect it to. High is close to one-pedal driving, not exactly there, but still close. The drawback is you have to fiddle with the screen to make your adjustments, whereas some competitors have it on paddles on the steering wheel, which I think is much more intuitive. And if my driving situations and conditions change, it's a simple tap left, tap right to make the alterations, as opposed to going through a screen where it's 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. So I'm happy they have it. I don't really love the implementation of it. The cabin is extremely comfortable. The seats are wonderful. If one of these fell off the back of a truck and landed in my front door, and somehow somebody managed to bring it upstairs to my office as a new office chair, I wouldn't complain at all. You still get the curved screen display, which has nice high-res graphics. Again, a little too much reliance on it because all of your HVAC is through there. Well, actually everything's through there with the exception of your hazards, the max vent for the windshield, and your rear defroster. It still has the scroll wheel, so operations are made a little easier. Before we move on to the pricing side, here is one thing I think you might really like, and one thing I think you might be a little iffy on. Starting with the positive, it's the exterior door handle. You don't pull it, you don't push it, there's no moving pieces, it's still flush with the body for maximum aerodynamics, and you just stick your fingers in, lift up a little bit, open the door, that's it, that's all. No chance of things freezing or breaking, and it's a smart way that BMW has done that. One thing you may not like is this electrochromic sunroof. There's no sunshade. Instead, you push a button and it goes from clear to opaque. And the benefit of a sunshade is if the front passengers want sun and the rear passengers don't, you just set that shade to halfway. But here, all 5 occupants, well, maximum of 5 occupants, have to either deal with all the light or none of the light. So as someone who likes choice, maybe you like choice out there as well, not the best thing. Let's get wrapped up with pricing and competition. So in Canadian MSRP figures, to join the iX Club, to get the 60 trim, which is what I have here, you're looking at $94,900, and just beneath that is the 45 trim for $89,900. There are so many options you can pick and choose from. I would strongly suggest getting that $3,500 driving dynamics package, which again gives you the 4-wheel steering and most importantly, the air suspension. It makes a world of difference. On the competition side, it's the usual suspects. So the Cadillac Lyriq, the Audi A8, Mercedes-Benz EQE, Tesla Model X, and the Genesis electrified GV70. Now, with the end of the electric vehicle rebates in late 2025, that will likely impact the number of EVs you see on the road in 2026. There's so much speculation as to whether it will come back, and if it does, what it'll look like. Will it be the same amount? Will it be less? Will it be different conditions? Again, all speculation, but it's not stopping BMW from churning out another new EV, being the iX3. And in early January, Volvo is releasing their EX60, the electric version of their best-selling XC60, and there's still a long list of other EVs out there. So it'll be an interesting year going forward. But if you are looking at the iX and driving dynamics matter to you, well, you're in the right spot, and definitely take it out for 1, 2, 3, even 4 test drives. Again, if you're like me and you want to prioritize function over fashion, go with those 20-inch wheels, get the almost 600 kilometers of all-electric range with a very healthy amount of power. That's going to wrap it up for the review for the 2026 BMW xDrive 60. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. We are always happy to hear from you, and we're always happy to engage in respectful conversations online. For more news, reviews, and information you can use on electric vehicles of all shapes and sizes and classes and brands, visit our website, which is Driving.ca. For Driving.ca, I'm Jay Canna.